Alright, let's see it.
Hope you guys are having a great week, and thank you for tuning in. So a few weeks ago, you may have seen a video I made talking about English voice actors, specifically SAG-AFTRA union members, and how we can see across the internet that public perception has been shifting against those union voice actors more and more. Ooh. Many people criticizing the actions of SAG-AFTRA and their members. Interestingly enough, I actually had two different union voice actors come to the comment section of that video angry with the video. But to one VA's credit, she actually deleted her comment after only a few hours of posting it. Proudly realized it was a bad move to make that comment, that the stuff she was trying to say about my video was incorrect, and that she was really only making the union VAs look worse. And so I won't be naming that voice actress, but there is another voice actress, the second one who came to my comment section, and her comment—
Wait, so this is ongoing drama?
—is still there. Let's take a look at this. Allegedly from this English voice actress, Cher Kirby says, "This video is full of misinformation. If you're not a member of SAG-AFTRA, maybe don't make videos like this. Thanks."
You're not allowed to talk about things if you're not a part of it. That's a great way to gatekeep your... Yeah, like, that's a great way to gatekeep your community. And for it to not reach your public. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Got a response from only 17 hours ago, actually, that reads, "So you're not allowed to talk about an issue if you're not a member of the protection racket being called out? That's not how it works." Now, interestingly enough, there's a post on the Genshin Impact subreddit from only 7 hours ago calling out the recent actions of Cher Kirby. We're not going to read that just yet, though, because I'd like to give you all the context, because this whole situation involves many more people than just Cher Kirby, as so many people on the internet right now are calling out union voice actors overall, including SAG-AFTRA itself. So I'll give you the context about what started all that over the last 24 hours or so. And it all begins here on March 26th. This post with now 2.9 million plus views over on Twitter.
Holy!
From voice actor Jacob Takanashi, makes this announcement about how he's joining Genshin Impact as a new voice actor, saying, "Role announcement. I'm honored to join the English cast of Genshin Impact as the voice of Kinnick. Taking up the mantle of Malipo is a privilege, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to carry the flame from the previous flame bearer, John, who did an incredible job. Those are big shoes to fill, and I promise to give it my all, out of respect for him, for Hoyoverse, and for you, the fans. Thank you to Diana for their amazing direction and for helping me navigate the intricacies of this incredible game, and to Side Tokyo and Hoyoverse for the honor of bringing Kinnick to life. I'm deeply grateful for the privilege of entertaining you all."
Standard.
However, in the responses, we can see—
Yeah, I was gonna say, why are people mad? What did he do?
a number of voice actors getting very upset at Jacob Takanashi. Comments from Western voice actors, such as Kaylee Mills, saying, "This is actually kinda diabolical. If you need the money, at least take the role uncredited. This just comes off as an easy grab for clout. It's not a..."
Wait, being credited as clout now? I'm confused.
A good look. Valeria Rodriguez leaving a number of thumbs down. Stephanie Sheh saying, "There are many reasons why roles get recast. I personally draw the line when the original actor is holding out because they are fighting for better work conditions. I've refused many auditions to take over roles from my peers because I'd never do that to another fellow actor." And Karina Botker saying, "This wasn't a passing of the torch." Karina being the English voice of Paimon in Genshin Impact, and someone that will be coming back to...
Can I just say that, like, what if you're just not involved in that? What if you're not online and you just, like, do your job? I don't know, I need more context, but it seems, like, really confusing. Like, what if you don't engage with, like, this movement because you don't know about it? Yes and no, he's a scab? He doesn't participate in the union that tracks and he's not in the US, so he's a scab? What the fuck are you guys talking about? What the fuck is a scab? A labor dispute? Yeah, I don't know.
Later in this video, as Karina also made other statements relating to the situation that many people in the Genshin fandom are pointing out and exposing for immense hypocrisy. But yeah, these sort of comments from voice actors upset with Jacob go on and on. For example, here's another one. Ruben Lack saying, "Dude, really classless move considering an actor was fighting for AI protections on this job. I appreciate folks want the paycheck, but they should know crossing a picket line is an immediate and permanent black mark." Another voice actor, Luis Bermudez, saying, "My hope is you were misled and weren't fully aware that John was withholding his work to fight for a better future for actors everywhere. If that's the case, you have the opportunity to do the funniest thing right now, but if not, and you continue in this role, Yikes.
A scab is someone non-union working what could be a union job. So you're personally attacking someone? Like, how do you know they didn't even know about this kind of thing? Like, how do you know? Yeah, I don't know. This seems like a really weird hill to die on. What if you're just a dude that, like, voice acts and you're not part of, like, the voice acting, like, whatever, union circle? Yeah. How do you know? Are you chronically online? Maybe?
Yikes, man. It's also not just English VAs leaving negative comments to Jacob, but also various union supporters in general. For example, this response to Jacob's statement reading, "Let's call it what it is. You're an effing scab." However, there's also a lot of comments defending Jacob. For example, the comment there in the center reading, "Y'all harassing him should realize that he's working from Japan. The strike is only happening in America. He's not under the strike in any state."
So they're attacking him even though he works in Japan and the strike is American-based. So they're just, like, eating their own. Yeah, great. That should have done your research before you attacked him. I don't know.
Perform.
That's what I was trying to say. It's like, how do you know that he knows about it?
Because he does VA work in English. And other comments like, "Why pile on the guy? He's a VA based in Japan. They have different labor laws in there. And congrats on your new role. Warning you now that fandoms can be toxic, and apparently other VAs too. Don't give in." While I do think any Genshin fan would admit that the Genshin fandom can be toxic,
yeah,
it's
Genshin
really
is
interesting
very
because in this
toxic.
particular situation, it seems like the Genshin fandom at large is actually defending Jacob. And we'll get to that when we hop over to the Genshin subreddit in a moment. First, we'll get
That actually says a lot. I'm actually scared. I'm afraid if Genshin's defending him, I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Like, the Genshin community itself.
more additional context. That takes us over to John Patneaude. Hopefully I said that right. This is the voice actor who got replaced by Jacob. John says, "Hey everyone, if you've been playing the latest 5.5 update in Genshin Impact and you're hearing Kinnick speak for the first time in 6 months, it's not my voice. I've been recast. I've been withholding voiceover services during the SAG-AFTRA interactive strike because Foil/Cognosphere would not offer AI protections in the form of a SAG interim agreement." Now let's pause there real quick because this is something a lot of people are taking issue with. Specifically how it comes off like these union voice actors and executives are conveniently leaving things out and really only telling the public certain bits of information.
Well, yeah, that's how you win public perception, is that you omit certain information to make yourself look good.
Trying to have all the public support
just
them
how
as if
it is.
they're entitled to the public supporting their cause no matter what, especially with how these negotiations may negatively impact non-union voice actors. And all this has been costing the union voice actors support. A lot of people are no longer willing to support the union VAs. And as has been a recurring theme throughout this video so far, that's something else we'll also be getting into more details about in a moment once we get through the rest of this context. So back to the statement. John says, "They'd kept my character's dialogue silent for months, all the while I had to make the difficult decision to continue not going in until an interim agreement was signed, and this ultimately was why I was recast. Now obviously a recast is not what I wanted. I'd hoped that any progress behind the scenes would be made, and I could come back safely, or that if recast auditions went out, my colleagues wouldn't read for them. Unfortunately, I was wrong. I absolutely..."
And by colleagues, you mean people in your union, and the guy's not even part of your union, so you're upset because he's taking your money. Yeah, that makes sense. Just because you guys share a job doesn't mean you're colleagues. I'm just saying. Corpos don't care who does the job at the end of the day.
Adored playing Kinnick. Genshin was my comfort game during the early parts of the pandemic, and it was a dream of mine to book a playable character. At the time, I didn't have an agent, didn't live in LA, or had any connections that would get me close. But 4 years later, I did it, and the messages I've received from you all, saying how much my performance as Kinnick meant to you, made my heart swell. I would and can return if Hoyo invites me back and signs an interim. I stand by my choices regardless of the outcome. Also, the strike is still ongoing. Please don't believe disinformation on the internet. My best wishes to the cast and the production team. Thank you for everything, JP. Alright, with all that context, that takes us over to the Genshin Impact subreddit as previously mentioned. In this post reading, Kaching's VA, Kaching being a character from Genshin, used their character to attack Kinnick's new VA. Are we just going to accept this nonsense? Kinnick's new VA, Jacob Takanashi, is...
You're not gonna win over people by sending them death threats and that they're a piece of shit and that they should die for taking on someone's job. You should prove them wrong by like, if you want to take the stance of being in the union and you want to take that big stance of not wanting to work anymore for those people that will not go in agreement with you, that's fine. I totally get it. You're allowed to do that. But at the same time, you shouldn't be like, oh my god, this guy's a piece of shit. I can't believe he does this. Like, the public's not going to understand the nuance of what you're doing and what you're saying, and it will make them hate you and dismiss what you're saying by you doing this. Like, your fans, you should be like, okay, guys, I know what's happening. This guy's probably not a piece of shit. He probably took the job on without knowing. I don't know how people's fucking heads work. He also lives in a different country where the union doesn't work. Not like, oh man, this guy's bad. Thumbs down. And then like all of them start fucking dogpiling him. Even me, who wasn't engaged in this news cycle for this VA thing, I saw people saying like VA getting death threats in my Twitter. I didn't even know what this was about until this video.
Currently being bullied by some VAs, including those who voiced Genshin characters like Paimon's VA Karina and Kaching's VA Kaylee Mills. In Jacob's announcement post, Kaylee Mills attacked Jacob for accepting the job.
Paimon being
when
bullies.
Someone disagreed with her, she said, I guarantee you Kaching would be doing the work to educate people and do what's best for the people. What do you think about this? I feel bad for Kinnick's new VA.
Wait, is Kaching the character? Is Kaching a character? Bro, I hate it when people try to self-insert like fictional characters into real life politics and situations. People would post shit like Hatsune Miku would be against they would be for Palestine, and people were like, bro, it's a fictional character, like what? Yeah, dude, Frodo would never do something like this. Sonic agrees with my politics, not yours. Like, chill out, it's just a drawing, man.
Just doing his job. He's not a USVA. Here's his post. As of recording, that post over on Reddit collecting over 4,200 upvotes and over 1,800 comments. The top comment on that post saying, wish she talked this much when people called her out for supporting Mosey's old VA, who is a sexual abuser. She supported him? She supported him in 2020 when he posted his statement, then congratulated him when his role was announced. She doubled down here. Apparently another one of the supporters, Sam's VA from HSR, Honkai Star Rail, is also one of the current VAs targeting Jacob right now. Funny how that's a correlation they both have.
I'll say it. I think the English VA circle is so small and it's so tight-knit that it actually has become like kind of a cult. I don't think this comment is very far off. It's such a small little circle, and getting into it is basically impossible.
Seriously starting to look like a clique, or some sort of Nepo circle, to be honest. That's a very reasonable assessment, and something a lot of anime and gaming fans came to realize, especially around 2019, as the whole situation with Vic and Funimation et al. Put a giant spotlight on the corrupt and cliquey part of the industry. Yeah, another set of top comments reading, man, what the frick is going on with English VAs? Same as always. Not even Zenless Zone Zero and Honkai Star Rail VAs were very supportive of the new VAs that replaced former ones, who also were fired from the strike. Genshin VAs are incredibly petty. And
I'm just gonna say it, if they start doing this on the regular, I think that the Chinese and Japanese gacha companies that make stuff like Zenless Zone Zero, Honkai Star Rail, and all those gacha games, they're just gonna not have English VAs and just say fuck it and give like and do like English subtitles. I think they're gonna start doing that. They're not gonna play ball. They have way too much money on the line.
Like a clique now, not a professional look. I learned my lesson after the Bayonetta fiasco. They're all a bunch of drama queens. What do you mean?
Bayonetta's fiasco.
Bayonetta's original VA lied about the studio trying to screw her pay for the third game and asked fans to boycott it. Until they being the studio.
Wait, I remember this. She made it up? I had no idea that it wasn't real. Wait, that's like in the public perception of things. I thought that was real. I forgot about that. Yes, I thought that was real. And then they got That's fucked up, man. Yeah, she lied? Yeah, I thought she didn't lie. Surprised you didn't know? This was right before I started VTubing, but I did hear about it, but I didn't know it was fake.
Showed receipts and proved she was making it up.
Wow,
that situation was crazy. She literally tried.
And again, that's what that's what happens when you just make up drama. The public doesn't care if it's made up or not. Like through like how the zeitgeist of the internet works. I didn't know until this until this was said. Man, and that tainted my perception of the Bayonetta like makers.
To get the internet to be her personal army, and then it came out that she was basically lying to people according to my recollection and was completely in the wrong. That takes us to a number of top comments specifically calling out Paimon's voice actor as well for hypocrisy, and as further evidence for how cliquey the English voice actors are, how they'll choose some people to go after but give others a pass. For example, this comment reading, Paimon's VA is pissing me off the most. Technically I'm scabbing, but it's okay because I'm autistic and have to pay my bills.
Okay, hold on, but by that logic, if someone's not autistic, they don't get help through disability. So therefore, you are at an advantage financially because you... What? This doesn't even make sense if you break it down like that. Also, it's like not an actual excuse. Like you're still using your voice. Like autism, I feel like autism... I mean, you're probably working from home. Like, what's going on, man?
Like, what? You don't know what the frick is going on in anybody's life but your own.
To scab.
He could be disabled, he being Jacob Takanashi.
Yeah,
his mom
true.
could have cancer. He could be trying to feed his dang kids, or heaven forbid, he could have nothing going on and just wants a paycheck. And you know what? That's his business and no one else's.
Yeah.
Let the man be proud to be a part of such a big, successful project and stop being such a hypocrite. A different top post on our Genshin Impact saying, Paimon, Kaching, and Cabaret's VAs responding to Jacob Takanashi, Kinnick's new VA. I kind of feel bad for Kinnick's new VA. And showing a number of tweets from the aforementioned voice actors saying negative things about Jacob Takanashi. Many of those we already went over earlier in the video, so let's skip to the comments. This one's saying, oh wow, even Hoot House VA is going after the new guy. And showing this screenshot. We haven't seen this one yet. This VA...
I think there's a poor misunderstanding. Scabs aren't the enemy. The company is. People need to leave the man alone. I think the fact that the word scab, also scab, has a really bad connotation. You calling him a scab right off the rip is already like you're attacking them. You might not be calling him like direct slurs or like names, but you're still saying, like, that you're a bad person.
Brianna responding to John, the prior VA for Kinnick's statement, which we read earlier, saying, thank you for standing strong and holding the line with us. You're a real one. Clears throat. Some of us, SMFH. But if we take a look at the comments in response to her, they're pretty much all against her. For example, going through this, just from the top, at this point, companies should just give up on English voice actors whatsoever. It worked for Snowbreak, it can work for all of them. And side note, if you're not familiar with the Snowbreak thing, I did go over that briefly at the end of the video I mentioned at the start of this one regarding my last coverage of this English VA stuff, so consider checking that out for more info on that. Other comments like, y'all are pieces of garbage, man. Gotta love the hypocrisy and self-righteousness.
It's the attitude,
honestly, seeing some of the other VAs attack someone for taking a job, I hope you all get recast. Yeah, there's just dozens and dozens of comments roasting this VA, but I don't want to get too sidetracked from the Paimon stuff because there's actually still a lot more to go over regarding that part of the whole thing. For example, back over on Reddit, this comment with over 1,800 upvotes saying, how nice of Karina, Paimon's VA, to support VAs not getting paid while cashing a check every patch. Also, while having...
That's true! Paimon isn't always a recurring character. Yeah! So she has a job no matter what, pretty much. Yeah, because some characters cycle out. For those that don't know, every patch, like, there's new characters and stories and stuff. Paimon is, like, basically, like, there all the time because she's, like, your companion or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, it must be nice.
The most lines means most likely getting paid the most.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, aren't they the #1 person with the most influence and pull if they struck? There are many other top comments over on Reddit calling out Karina, but let's hop back over.
Autistic voice actor, Genshin Impact, One Punch Man, Sailor Moon. Bro, I feel like every VTuber probably has some sort of autism or social, like, general anxiety, social anxiety, and I don't think those people put, like, autistic VTuber into their, what is it called? Into their bio. Like, the autism card is not a thing, man. Yeah, mental disability is personality. No, I don't think that's it, man. Just be nice. People will watch you no matter what. Why do you have to have a label in front of your name?
The Twitter. Because there are various comments on Twitter.
I'm not Karina, I'm autistic,
which
Karina
even responded. In this exchange, we can see where Karina had said to Jacob Takanashi, this wasn't a passing of the torch.
Oh, she's doubling down.
And this user Luminescence saying, and you working on it is still good for the strike? Like, make it make sense. Karina.
Yeah, if anything, honestly, wait. Yeah, shouldn't she just, like, quit if she's gonna post on Twitter about how bad it is for, like, for this to be a thing with the AI agreement? Like, I understand the premise of the strike.
Responded with this set of tweets saying, no, you're right. I am technically scabbing. I originally have this role, and technically I can still work this role. I am a disabled person.
Okay, you know what the best part is that she has such a big position of power as being the mascot voice for the English VA. If you really, truly wanted to make a stance on this, I think this would actually make a big impact. But no, you need to get money on the table. You're disabled. You need to do this. You need to do that. Like, why do you have this excuse?
And this is the job that puts food on my table, is I actually record this role year-round. But I didn't take this role from another person who was striking. I had...
So it's okay for you to do it because it's your original role. Got it.
Had this role, and I am stuck in it because I have...
What do you mean you're stuck in it? I have no other way to pay the medical bills. Okay, then the other guy also has no way to pay for his medical bills. How do you know? Not everyone is chronically online crying about how their grandma has cancer. Or that they have a disability.
No other way to pay my medical bills. But yes, technically, I am a scab. And you're right, I don't deserve any praise right now. I don't deserve any of it. I deserve to be told off just like this actor. So please do. No one should look up to me. I'm trapped and a coward because I continue this job because if not, I end up homeless.
I don't even know what to say. This is so weird. Yes, call me out, but also I'm a victim.
I don't say that because I deserve sympathy. I don't. The ones sticking to the picket line deserve all the praise, not me. I love voicing Paimon. Love it. I've been through so much that you guys will never truly understand. But I also know what I am, and I should not be given any applause for this. If I could feasibly stick the line with my fellow actors, I would.
But you can. You can. It's just really hard, and you don't want to do it because it's a really hard thing to do. She has autism and Billsboro? Yeah, what if that guy has, like, I don't know, some sort of, like, actual disability? How do you know?
This job actually barely keeps me alive, but that doesn't mean that it makes it different. It is not a good thing to my fellow actor that I continue to work on this game. I have struggled with that since the strike started, so call me out for this. Please, I deserve it, if it means we get
oh my god.
closer to making things better.
Oh
then
my
so be
god,
it. The top response
what?
to Karina saying, so what?
What is wrong
Many
with
disabled
you?
people work remotely in other professions. Voice acting is not your only option if it puts you in such an unethical position. But you have to seek attention on Twitter.com like a 16-year-old and present yourself like a saint in the whole community. Karina responding, saying, I definitely don't present myself as a saint, but you don't know my disability and what I am able to do.
Well, you can clearly voice act, so go voice act somewhere else. Oh, wait. Genshin Impact pays a lot of money for you? Oh, you don't want to get a lesser job because it'd be inconvenient and you'd earn less money? Well, darn, I guess I have to keep voice acting for this bad company. Oh my god, man.
Same way you don't know any other VA situations either. Imagine someone shamed you for just trying to make ends meet, which at this point may as well be.
That's what you're doing to the guy that lives in Japan! man!
Warranted. There's also a difference between taking a role quietly and bragging about getting it when the other VA was recast for striking. He wasn't even aware of the situation. He lives in Japan. Y'all are so out of touch.
This is
so let
so
me know what you think
cringe.
about the Karina stuff. Do you think Karina's response was good, that the points are fair? Or do you think it's an example of
Yeah,
hypocrisy from
totally
these voice
fair,
actors?
yeah.
Or perhaps something else? Moving on to the next VA, that takes us back to Shara Kirby in this post that says, Shara Kirby, Candice VA, opinion on Hoyo and Genshin's fanbase. This once again being the VA who allegedly left a comment on my video, where Shara Kirby is apparently over on Blue Sky saying, in response to Jacob Takanashi's announcement post, this gotta be the most classless thing I've seen with everything going on. Have fun with Genshin. You'll never work on anything else. LMFAO.
They have so much power that they can go to, like, these other companies and tell them to blacklist? Like, this is so cringe. Ew!
It's also interesting how they're recording in Japan for English dub now. Wow, cool. Go to bed and recast me too while you're at it. Screw Hoyo, disrespectfully. Because let's be frank, who's gonna beat me over a video game that underpays its performers and is actively farming their voices so that they don't have to hire real people? I do hope it was worth it, truly I do. You'll never catch me singing that company or any company that operates that way to a simple request of protecting the talents they hired. Singing praises for, sorry, not sorry, I rage quit.
Yeah, you definitely sound really upset.
One more thing. I have never dealt with a fan base as callous and as annoying as the Genshin fan base.
Honestly true, though. Yeah, let's go!
Who would go so far as to
pop
berate the
off
voice
queen,
actors,
yes.
who only want better protections and rates for being rightfully upset that someone publicly scabbed. Just insanity.
Genshin just wants pretty waifus. They don't give a fuck about your problems. Genuinely, I don't think the end consumer of a Genshin Impact enjoyer cares about this kind of thing.
The only other one I've dealt with like this is the Murder Drones fan base, and only one of those doxed me. I'm not in the business of arguing and fighting with children. I'm going to delete some of that thread later, because this is a semi-professional page. But TLDR, don't talk to me about Genshin Impact ever again. K. Top comments to that post reading, the United States isn't the only place where English is spoken well. Also, there are US citizens across the world right now working remotely. I'm confused too, since when English becoming exclusive to US and US only? Apparently, Hoyo's characters are theirs and only theirs to voice. They just forgot to notify Hoyo about that.
You really think Hoyo's gonna care at the end of the day? This is what I'm saying. I don't think AI is like great in this situation. I don't think people's voices should be taken without their consents or retroactively to make more content out of it. I don't think that's okay. But at the same time, there has to be some sort of middle ground because AI is becoming so advanced, and in 10 years, there will be no way of controlling or distinguishing AI from a real person. I truly believe that. I know, it's scary to think about. I don't like it. It's scary. But you gotta be reasonable, man. Not even 10 years. Well, I'm exaggerating, but the point is, it's gonna be soon, man.
Top comment in that exchange saying, well, that's one of the most unprofessional resignations I've ever seen. If I was a voice caster for any other field of work, I'd probs not hire her based on this alone. It's so unprofessional and going into unhinged territory.
And she also is self-aware enough to say, well, this is a professional page, but I know what I'm doing, so I'm gonna keep ranting here. It's like, you have the control to not say this kind of shit and say fuck your fan base. Nobody ever should say fuck your fan base, the people that give you money for doing what you do. As a professional, you're allowed to think it, sure. Obviously, thought police doesn't exist. You can't read their thoughts, but holy crap, man.
Honestly, I won't be surprised if Hoyo is now gathering all this to bring all of them to the negotiating table and have a word with what they just said regarding Jacob. Those may be personal accounts, but I imagine Hoyo doesn't want a bunch of VAs going around starting a civil war with other VAs, and make it look like Hoyo's VAs are some cult. There's a pretty well understood line where your personal account ends, and it's right around where you start bad-mouthing the company that pays your salary, lol. It's one thing if these VAs were trashing on each other.
I will never understand that. The people that get... again, you're allowed to bitch about your job. I totally think that's fine. But at the same time, you probably shouldn't be doing it on your professional account. It's kind of like when you go home and you bitch about your 9-to-5 job to like your significant other or your family. I think that's fine. But if you're bitching to other coworkers and they're like, I'm feeling a little bit weird about this. They're also more likely to rat on you, by the way. It creates drama in the workplace. But like, I don't know. It's just so weird. I've never taken that kind of attitude in any work situation.
Purely on principle, but they're literally name dropping the game and the company, and that's a huge no-no in any job.
Yeah, bitching to customers as
well. It reflects poorly on the
Wait,
company.
that's actually an even better analogy. Bitching to customers. Imagine you're at McDonald's and the guy handing you the burger is like, I fucking hate McDonald's. I fucking hate it so much. And you're like, thanks. I don't care. I just want my burger. Yeah, like, as long as you give me my burger, like, I don't care, man. Just go pop off, queen.
Hope she's prepared to explain these tweets to her future employers. This is
put the fries in the bag, motherfucker.
There's no way they actually put their money where their mouth is and resign. Doesn't matter, because that statement is basically all Hoyo needs to get her to never voice for them ever again. Whether she wants to backtrack or not, this can be considered a surefire resignation in Hoyo point of view, due to the atrocious mannerisms and statements made by her. Yep, she basically burned every single bridge of possibility that she'll ever get cast in a Hoyoverse game ever again. And I'm sure there'll be some game companies that see this as well, and would prefer not to take in a VA this volatile in their games. What a way to sabotage your VA career. Essentially, the entire post is criticizing her. Let me know what you think.
These corpos are probably also speedrunning to take Paimon's English VA's voice and make it AI and make it indistinguishable from a real person. They're like, fucking hurry up, man. Get this AI going so we can replace this dumb bitch who's bad-mouthing us while we give her money. Like, why wouldn't you, as like a corpo, do that? I feel like they would be doing that.
Think about that part of the situation.
Yeah.
And finally, we'll take a look at some public reception for the SAG-AFTRA agreement overall. On a post about the agreement terms, we see top comments like this. Bruh, so if Hoyo is forced to sign, all non-union VAs are effectively forced to join the union in a month or else, which would limit them to only American VAs, giving the union a monopoly over the English voice acting in all the affected projects. I know it's Reddit, but countries other than America exist. Not necessarily only American VAs, but SAG actors, the majority of which are American. It's semantic, but non-Americans can join SAG if they work in the US. Many VAs don't want to join a mafia organization. The mafia is asking for membership protection fees plus continuous fees.
What? You have to pay money to them? I thought unions were like free. $3,000 to get in? That's a lot of dosh, man. Jesus, dude. Oh my god.
It sucks every money from VA. Meanwhile, all the union VAs are crying about being misinfo when someone points this out. They're doing...
Unions are crowdfunded by the workers? Okay, but if you're forced to join and then you don't want to, and then you have to pay a fee, I feel like that's fucked up. If you want to join a union and you want to give them your money, that's fine. But I'm just saying, if this post is true and they're saying that they want to force people, like, I feel like that's bad. You should have an option or a choice.
It's us or them, and they pick themselves. They're more than willing to screw over non-union VAs, because why do they get to make money while I'm jobless? Even though studios like Studio Cadence, ZZZ, have non-AI clause and supports negotiations about AI with SAG, yet these VAs kept pushing AI as an issue to sign the agreement. Bold to assume that the kind of people who go online and harass a colleague are actually smart people. I bet that 80% didn't even read or grasp what they are striking for, but just get the TLDR from their agent/agency. Interestingly enough, some union voice actors are attempting to say that the union actually does care about non-union actors. For example, in this tweet by Koi Dao, part of it reads, "During the strike, the SAG negotiating committee has expressed they want to help non-union actors keep their jobs and are willing to negotiate a waiver for the must-join rule for any project that needs it." But this person, Lynn, responds, saying, "I don't know. I remember the video from the SAG guy who said non-union VAs are lesser than union VAs." Which was deleted after the backlash. Lesser. So I can't really believe they...
Yeah, we're having class wars now.
Want to help the non-unions alone. Once again, we have Karina Boger here saying, "You mean the one that wasn't even said during this strike? Keep up, this is a different strike now. Also, the entire union screamed at him for that. To give you additional context, I believe it was Duncan Crabtree Ireland, the National Executive Director and Chief Negotiator for SAG-AFTRA, who made those disparaging remarks towards non-union actors, specifically saying that they're quote-unquote lesser quality. So while some union members gave him backlash on social media for those remarks, it doesn't seem like there's any serious action taken against him. It seems like he still has that top executive position. And furthermore, it seems like
highest among Hollywood unions, exceeding $1 million in 2023. It's a lot of dosh, Chan. It's a lot of dosh. I want $1 million. You want $1 million? Let's form a union. I get $1 million.
his position at the union is getting him a salary of over $1 million a year. Lastly, on SAG-AFTRA's own website, they have a section dedicated to talking about financial core. A brief summary of financial core reads, financial core refers to a legal carve-out that permits workers opposed to participating in a labor union to be employed under the benefits of a union's contracts without compelling them to be a member of that union. In which SAG-AFTRA says, financial core members are viewed as scabs or anti-union by SAG-AFTRA members, directors, and writers, most of whom also belong to entertainment unions. And as you surely know, scab is used as a derogatory term for people who are not a part of the union or who cross picket lines, etc., etc. The point is, while some union members attempt to say that SAG-AFTRA really does care about people who are not a part of the union, it seems like the union's own actions and terms.
Yeah, telling a guy that he's a piece of shit for taking work while living in Japan is a very nice and respectful thing to do, for sure.
As well as this whole situation recently with a number of union VAs and how they've treated Jacob has caused many people to be skeptical, to say the least. But anyways, let me know what you think about this stuff in the comments. Hope you enjoyed my coverage, and if you did, please consider liking and or subscribing. Appreciate you.
VAs, man. English VAs are so cooked, man. I've heard nothing but bad things for like years. Like 10 years probably, I'd even say. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Chat, it's cooked. Attacking someone for not even being in America where you can't even be a union member. Bullying. This is bullying. Like actually, bullying.